Yeah, so we make Svenja pasta,
I make
and
Svenja
it's
and I think about it as Svenja pasta.
that actually blows my mind. That blows my mind because we're gonna make Svenja pasta, and there's no world where it's gonna be called something different. So my children, they're gonna go, look, we're having Svenja pasta. Celebrity.
Incredible legacy,
Celebrity.
especially knowing that it is an adaptation of Gigi Hadid's pasta recipe. So everyone else is calling it Gigi Hadid pasta. And I'm like, no, see, wrong person. I am the idol. I am the idol.
Svenja,
It's Svenja
you
pasta.
are the inventor. I also started putting gin in it because Molly Boss told me to. And that's right, exactly. Salt. She made a new cookbook.
She did,
Yeah.
and it's like bright red, and the font is gorgeous. Here's the thing, as a designer, it's like a little much for me, where like I flip through it and I'm like, I'm overstimulated. And I think that's also part of just like being in the corporate world where they're like Arial or nothing. And now I'm like,
Whoa. I also maybe the hottest take ever is we both have her cookbook, and I like maybe like a handful of recipes from it. I just think about the one that looks like a big piece of bologna, and I can't get past that.
Bologna aside, I think we should get into it. All right, I'm Svenja.
I'm Jordan.
This lost the plot where the two of us try our very best to talk about books, but inevitably absolutely lose it. Each segment we're going to read a serious book and a silly book. One of us has selected the silly book, one of us has selected the serious book. Jordan has selected the serious book for this month, and I selected our silly selection. For serious books, what did we read, Jordan?
We were reading Klara and the Sun, which we'll get into that, and our silly book.
That was Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. So,
which if you asked me what is the rest of the title after Percy Jackson, I might have had a hard time telling you.
No, it was tough.
And that's fine.
It was difficult for me as well.
Yeah.
Well, let's start rocking and rolling.
Indeed.
Jordan, why did you choose
Klara and the Lightning Thief? You know what?
Klara.
So we're reading.
Name of the
Oh my god! Honest. Yes. Part of we are readers. We'd be reading. Last year, I read 80 books. Sonia read
also
a bunch of books.
Yeah.
Wow. That's hilarious.
I see.
We were reading a lot of books, and we said, you know what? Maybe we should use our brains? ? And maybe this is wrong, but Klara and the Sun is a book that I was like, people be thinking out there reading these sets of books,
right,
this book included. It's giving it's giving literature. It's giving. She has a brain. Oh my god, she'd be thinking.
Erudite.
Right, exactly. And we all know that that's what we are.
Divergent.
So,
yeah.
Divergent release for life.
The only reason
was thinking about rewatching those again. Yikes. Literally. And so we said, that's in my Libby currently. Let's read it. And
in my Libby, let's read it.
Or will soon to be in my Libby. We shall read. So I'm thinking, give me a star rating to start us off.
Mm-hmm. What the hell?
Honestly, I was expecting a 2. I was expecting a 2.
3 means I'm like viscerally angry. 1 means like I can't believe, like I don't finish books if they're gonna be a 1.
Well, yeah, but I was expecting a 2.
But like, did I have a good time? No, I did not.
Yeah, I gave it a 3, and then after hearing your reaction to it, was like, maybe it's going down to a 2. But I think... right? 3 was also what I gave it. Because it could have been. It could have been better. Yeah. My thought is, maybe people haven't read this book, so it would be worthwhile giving an overview, but I also don't care. So that's up to you.
Excellent point. Well, here's the vibes. The vibes is little AI robot doll baby girl goes to babysit a chronically ill 15-year-old And her mom actually secretly has a plan to train the AI girly, Klara, into turning into her sick daughter when she dies. But Klara makes a deal with the devil, but it's not the devil, it's the sun. And the sun saves the 15-year-old girl's life. And then the girl goes to college and Klara like withers in a field and dies.
Stares straight into nowhere in a garbage pile. That's what I see.
Yeah, just
and in my opinion, the most anticlimactic ending I could have ever wished for.
No, truly, I was walking home from picking up my bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, and I was listening to it on 2.15 speed, rushing to finish it for this recording. And like, I guess like I was like kind of like zoned out. Like I was just like in the zone listening, and then I kind of like came to and had an out of body experience where I was like, is this the fucking end? And then like I heard the end credits and I was like,
right? That is exactly what I felt. And I actually think that I might have missed something.
The pacing was so slow, and then it's over.
I too was walking, listening to it at about 2.15 speed, going, wait, what? Hello. So that is wow. I can't. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'd missed something too, because so there's a moment where Klara makes her deal with the sun, and she says that like, in order for my baby girl to get like well again, I have to destroy this machine. And she goes and destroys the machine, but like we don't actually see her do that in the chapter. Like we just skip forward to something else. And when that happened too, I was like, did I miss something? And then like a chapter later, she like reminisces on it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like we didn't actually see that happen.
Yes, I dumped my spinal fluid into the funnel of some metal tube.
And then the machine that causes pollution will die. Like, I don't know. Like,
when I tell you, I think the name Cootings gives me the ick. I actually hate that word. It just Cooties? Icon. The Cooting? Disgust.
Yeah, was there supposed to be some kind of like environmental advocacy like agenda? Like save the planet, things will happen to you.
Interesting.
But like also I don't think that was like why specifically like pollution that the sun doesn't like, right? Like could have been anything. Like why wasn't it like violence?
Right? Also the thing about the sun is, was it real? That is what I want to know.
The sun helped the little girl?
Right.
I don't think so.
Because I don't think so either. And also, I'm curious, what happened to that homeless man on the side of the road? He was asleep for just a day, and then he was fine? I don't know. And plus dog.
Plus dog. I don't actually remember that part, but she brings it up over and over again. She's like, can you use special power like you did with homeless man? And I'm like, I might have been like half asleep when I heard that part. Like, I do not.
I'm like, homeless man, who?
I'm like, yeah, okay.
Because literally the whole book, I was like, what is she thinking? Like, in what world?
So she's like, yeah, the sun is nice and helps you feel better.
But I'm like, girl, is that just because you think that's just because you're solar powered? Because I was like, cool, it's gonna. No, for a robot that is supposed to be intelligent, it is not like at all. Yeah, so all of this, like, I'm gonna go to the barn and I'm gonna go talk to the sun. I was like, what a shit show it's gonna be when you find out that the sun isn't gonna work, and then the sun works. And I'm like, this was not the ending I was expecting.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, here's my big gripe with it. Is Kazuo Ishiguro has written another piece of speculative fiction that is very similar to this called Never Let Me Go, which is one of my favorite books of all time. And it deals with like a similar world where instead of AFs, right, like artificial friends, which is what you have in this world, you have clones. And so these clones are human clones that are raised in like orphanages, like in the English countryside, until they're adults to become organ donors. And like the kids, like they don't know that they're going to be organ donors, and like they have this weird like art project that they do every year, and they like are like super competitive with this art project. And then later they find out that like the art project is like to show donors, or like to show rich people that like they as clones are human, that they have like human thoughts and feelings, and that they should be spared from their fate. And then in the end, like you have this couple that is like, look, like we're in love, like you should spare us, right? Because like if we can show love, then like we're definitely not like soulless clones. And the like matriarch is like, I'm sorry, like I've done everything I can, but like the world is just shitty, like I can't help you. And then they both die, and it's like heart-wrenching and crushing. And you have a really similar conceit here, which is like artificial being wants to save itself, or wants to save someone else from cruel world, so believes in some kind of like ridiculous thing, right? Like some ridiculous like metaphysical like idea of like goodness, which in that book was like art shows their humanity, and that there's this whole conspiracy around the best art like saving the right clones, and in this book being like the sun. And then like in that book you're like, hey, like there actually like isn't this like grand plan, like the world is just shitty, like you don't always get what you want, and like love does not conquer all, and like it doesn't matter how human you are, like the world is cruel. Like that is heart-wrenching. And in this,
I would have preferred that.
if you go into a barn and hallucinate and pour your spinal fluid into a machine, then a girl will get healthy and then abandon you, and then you will wither away. Like what?
The way that you described couple is like in love, can fight the odds, is like pretty much exactly what Clara's like, son, beautiful. Look at, they're together, like you want to save this. Hello?
Ricky.
That's the same.
Ricky, where'd you go?
The funny thing is though, I think Ricky might be my favorite character though, because I hated pretty much everyone else.
Well, I hated everything, and he was there. Well,
yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't know if I'm just fucking stupid or if I just like didn't catch on, but what is like did they talk more about like the genetic augmentation that
they say it once? They literally mention the whole thing one single time, and I looked this up because I was like, am I stupid? Did I miss this? And some people didn't catch it at all, and I was like, look at me, I can read.
I heard it.
Yeah, exactly. I heard it. I did not read it with my eyes. I heard it.
We heard it. But like, because they're like hinting at it this whole time, where it's like this conspiracy, and for whatever reason, like Ricky didn't do it, and like he's like separated from Josie, and like it's just like so tense, and like his mom has been like exiled from society because she didn't choose to do this. But like we don't talk about it at all. It's kind of alluded that this genetic modification is what caused Josie to be sick.
Right, and her sister, who
but they're saying did die, died from something else.
But they also said, well, it's possible that she died from something else, but they also alluded to how they were going to make an AF version of the sister too that just didn't work.
Yeah. Well, they made the doll, but the doll was like freaky. Yeah. And her mom tackled the doll in the field.
Man, I missed that one, but exciting.
Oh. Yeah, when Josie was with Ricky and his mom was like, oh yeah, remember when we saw the doll or the thing that looked exactly like the daughter that was dead, that had been dead for 2 years?
Yeah. I do, yes.
Wacko.
That's the one.
Wacko.
Yeah. What were we even saying? No, but I don't think that they talk about it. I also the whole genetic altering actually kind of confused me, because Josie doesn't really show any special traits. She seems really stupid, annoying, and can draw some pictures that in my head it's like Pharaoh's like bad art. That's like the vibe that I get.
It's like the New Yorker cartoons in my head. I'm like, they're fine.
So I'm like, what did you gain? I don't really understand. And why?
The stigma of Ricky.
Maybe. Like, that seems plausible enough.
So stupid to get an entire
Right?
population of people to get a procedure out of FOMO.
And then why do they have to force interactions between kids?
Because they're all homeschooled. But like, why did Klara hate it so much? And then like Ricky keeps being like, no, like we're going to like change her so she doesn't become like them. But then like she becomes like them, right? Like she just goes out to college. We never see or hear from her again. We can only assume that she became a raging bitch.
She already was, so.
She already was. So like, what was it all for?
Right? Exactly. I wish that we got more information about the world that they were living in, because we also got some weird allusions to the father fighting people.
Yeah,
like,
he like
like what?
lives in a community which, in my mind, is like a condominium complex in Florida where divorced men live. Have you seen Big Mouth?
Yeah. Well, I've seen some of it.
Well, there's like Jesse's dad in Big Mouth gets divorced and moves to a condo complex where it's just like a whole bunch of sleazy dads, but it like basically looks like a motel. And it's just like super gross. Like that's what I'm imagining. Like super gross, almost a motel, a whole bunch of single men living together, but they're all armed.
Yeah.
If anyone tells them like being not nice, they're like.
See, what I'm imagining, did you watch, is it The Last of Us? The one with Pedro Pascal and Lady Marmalade. I'm getting the community. I'm getting the community that the old guys live in that's fenced in, and then we get a tragic episode, which was devastating. I was half watching it and crying, and Jackson was full watching it and sobbing. I'm getting that. I'm getting very like suburban neighborhood with fence around it, with like the barbed wire, and everyone's armed. But like the same vibe. Could be in Florida for all I'm concerned.
Well, I was getting more like urban apartment. Like they don't have space because it's single men. Like they're living,
which does check out too.
They're living in
maybe they're sleeping bunk bed style. In these houses.
What was that? And like, why were other people mad that they were living this lifestyle? And like, frankly, Rick's mom was right. Them like living an alternative lifestyle and like weaponizing or like militarizing when anyone disagrees with them is pretty fashion.
Yeah, it was like, whoa. Yeah, like, hello.
Do we want to do like more social commentary, or are we just gonna like leave it at that and never talk?
Well, the weird part is like, okay, we could either we could have it and talk about it, and it could be a part of this book, or we say you're fascist. Whoa there. She's like, why would you say that in front of the children, and then never brings it up again?
Also, okay.
I also like, why was he laid off? Do we know why? Like, why?
I think it was like, well, what I was thinking was the beginning of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie with Johnny Depp, where you have Charlie's dad working in the toothpaste factory and he's replaced by machines. Like that's the vibe. Like he was replaced by AI. And I think he's like trying to make an argument where like, because so it was like this like academic class no longer needed to work, they're able to like retreat to these communities where they can just like intellectually stimulate themselves like for the sake of intellectual stimulation. Right, like people talk about how like AI is going to like trigger the like creation of a new iteration of the Roman leisure class, where it's just people who like don't need to work, they just leisure and like learn and like have fun for learning and fun's sake. And like I think that's what maybe Ishiguro was like saying that the father was able to do, but like also he had to weaponize himself. Like why did they have to arm themselves against the rest of society?
Yeah, exactly.
Also, how did they survive?
Exactly.
How did they earn money to eat?
How do they do that? Why, say he got laid off, why didn't he just live with them? Why was he forced to move? Oh, okay.
Yes. Divorce.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I was
But
like, he never does. I get maybe there's like no visitation rights things, but it feels like how could everyone be so excited to see each other yet never sees them?
right,
Because
there
he
was
lives
like
in this whole thing.
where he was like, "Oh, I'll visit more." Like, I'm sorry, I haven't visited. I'm like, why didn't you? So,
Right.
like, is it just because
Like,
you're like beefing with the mom and she's like, don't come to my house anymore? Which, like, totally, I respect that energy.
I'm like, fair.
I don't want a man that I don't like in my home. If we've broken up, don't come to my home.
Exactly. It feels reasonable as hell.
Crazy, right?
No more thought.
Um,
Here's
there was
my interesting thought that I had about it was I kind of liked, kind of hated the very purposeful omitting of like full words like AF. We don't hear what that is until like maybe a fourth of the way in. They say artificial friend. I found it weird that we were like, the mother, name drop. Whoa, she has a name out of nowhere. Why? The single mention explicitly of genetics.
yeah.
Cool.
Like, I think that tactic works really well in Never Let Me Go because you're like teasing this world that's actually really well built out and like
Mm-hmm.
you understand like the whole landscape and everything starting to fall into place and like you're also growing up from the child's perspective and so it's like, oh, like I don't know how the rest of the world, I don't know how the government works. I'm 6 years old. And so you only know what that person knows. Um, but in this, I was like, why would, why is no, like, why, why does Clara not know why Rick is different?
Right? Yeah.
Right? Like, it feels like something that everyone at all levels of society like understands that there's been like a big thing.
Yeah.
Also,
The
like,
other
why did mom not make that choice? Is it that there's like just a risk that your child becomes really sick?
that's my main guess for like the risk wasn't worth it to them.
Yeah.
I did find it interesting too that Josie basically is like, I wouldn't have had it any other way in the way I'm remembering it, as if she also decided, which means that she would have been small. Like, how is that?
How
I don't
old were they
like,
supposed to be?
because
And how long?
they're supposed to be 15,
But then she goes to college.
right? Which would have been like 18,
Yeah.
for like 3 years.
What? That
That
feels
actually, I mean, like, basically, maybe the like periods that Josie was sick was like months at a time or something crazy.
maybe, yeah. But then
Or actually, wait, it might be that it was short time, and then Josie got sick, then Josie got better, and then we basically got a rough recap, and now they're going.
oh.
That's it.
Yeah, that feels better. That feels better than the whole thing is an evenly spaced 3 years. Nari.
Yeah.
Also, okay. I'm reading the back of the book. It says, uh, Ishiguro looks at our rapidly changing modern world through the eyes of an unforgettable narrator to explore a fundamental question. What does it mean to love? Do you feel like that was the central question of this book?
I'm thinking maybe I should have read that first. Maybe I would have looked for it. I don't. If anything, I got the question of what does it mean to be human because they had the whole like you can replicate the head, can't replicate the heart/soul.
Yeah. And at the end, she has that really great reflection where she's like, maybe there's like nothing like intrinsic to us, but there's something about like the people around us where like our
Right.
perception
I was like,
is human.
something
Right?
good happened here. Yeah.
Like
Right.
that is such an interesting conversation where it's like I had this conversation with my father. It's like, if we like upload our consciousness to the cloud, but we don't have any like physical body anymore, are we still human? And he's like, no. And I'm like, I think yes. And like, that's such an interesting question of like, where do different people draw the line between human and like artificial, right? Because like different
Right.
people process in different spots. I'm like, that could have been such an interesting question to answer. But instead,
Yeah,
she was,
exactly.
it wouldn't have worked. What a bummer. That thing that we were
I
all
had a
and enraptured by for hundreds of pages didn't happen.
also apologies if you can hear my washing machine, but I had a much more juvenile version of that conversation at my team dinner the other day where someone out of nowhere goes, "You think if you cut off both arms and both legs, are you still counting as a human? And you replace them with robotic limbs, are you still a human?" And I'm like, Klara? Klara, where? You didn't even know what you were doing.
No.
But exactly, that could have been a great avenue for the book to take. Instead, no, we get them. Okay, so anyway, my favorite part of the book, probably, other than like we get a nice epiphany at the end, but the wacko, like diner conversation between the school guy and Rick's mom.
I was like, you were a psycho bitch.
I
20
was
years
like, man, you were in the wrong the entire time.
the entire time. The entire time. Wait, did we ever find out if Rick got into college?
I don't think we do. We do know that he's making sketch as hell spying drones, which what a weird
Right.
how why?
Like, I want to
That
know
struck me as weird.
who is the world at war with that we're spying on if it's another country?
Right. That
If
was
not,
like really the only tie
trying
to the yes,
is
like
it
the violence.
corporations? Like, what is driving this world to want to like monitor, and how is this information being used? And also, like, if you're in a world where teenagers are developing spy drones, like, I assume that would change the way that people behave both when they're at home and in cities if they feel like they're always being monitored.
Right. It's like, does the
None
world?
of that.
Yeah, exactly. My guess is like the separation between lifted people and the rest of society is basically like lifted society and complete devolving into chaos for the rest of society that the upper part is trying to corral. That's my only guess for like where this could have played out as, where there would need to be military-ish interactions between folks and spying on lots of people. Maybe.
Question. Do you think that adults had been lifted, or do you think it was just children?
I don't know, because we could be in a part, because that would be where if the father was lifted, then it wouldn't really make sense.
Right.
But it could have
Sounds like
come
he was doing
about.
that.
Right. I think it might be newer.
Yeah. Also,
Because,
yeah.
well, if it sounds like they haven't worked out all the kinks, if there's like a kids will potentially die when they're 15.
Yeah. Yeah. There was also the like note from manager when she's visiting Klara in the dumpster pile at the end, where she's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like like they're not making AFs anymore.
Yeah.
Where like
Which
so people didn't connect with the like V3s. So Klara was like a level 2, and they made another level after her that was like more complex. People didn't like those. But then like they stopped making them, so like what?
yeah.
Why? Right? Like, because the need that they were solving for was these kids who have been lifted, I'm assuming, are all like immunocompromised, therefore can't go to traditional school, need to like Zoom learn. They need to like be taught by tutors on their computers. And so they get really lonely. And so if we give them artificial friends, then they'll be able to be like better adjusted. But like we don't
Right.
hear like but like I get why like I get that argument if like Klara was immunocompromised, but like all of the other kids that she socialized with, they were fine.
Right? Or maybe because I don't remember if we heard if Josie like felt sick in those interactions. Because it's possible that that was just a front. So all of those kids went home and they were sick in bed,
They were sick
and
of
they're
you.
like, right?
That's true. Well, there was one comment from, what was she called? The like blender lady. I don't know what Clara called her, but one of the moms said to Clara's mom, like, "Oh, it's
There
our
was some
greatest
comment
fear."
that really, yeah.
And I was like, "But what is your greatest fear? Are you talking about Ricky or are you talking about Clara?" This is a great time to open the book, but
Right? Well, now that you're saying this, and I don't know if this is actually what you're talking about, but one of the moms are talking to each other, and someone gets really. Oh yeah, Chrissy. What did I say? I didn't mean. I didn't.
yeah, right before that
She said something that they get really offended.
yeah, it's my greatest fear.
Food. You respond on the food blending woman.
It is the food blending woman, right?
Food blending woman.
Blending woman. Yeah,
Some of us. Some of us were lucky. Some of us weren't. Josie's fine now, isn't she? She looks so much better. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't.
Oh, Chrissy, I'm so sorry. I'm so stupid sometimes. Oh, wait. Oh, did his folks
Yeah,
just
he
decide
does it.
to go ahead, lose their nerve? Mother's smile vanished. Then, oh, Chrissy, what did I say? I didn't mean. It's okay, Mother said. Please forget it. Oh, Chrissy, I'm so sorry. I'm so stupid sometimes. I only meant it's our worst fear. Every one of us here. Some of us were lucky, some of us weren't. So, like, was it a
So maybe
choice
that's being sick?
to like do that to your kids? Right? It sounds like they're talking about Rick. So,
Right.
what about Rick is their greatest fear?
Yeah. Because I thought that it was a choice.
Yeah, because if they're saying like, did his folks just lose their nerve? Then that's giving choice.
Right. Maybe
I'm
their greatest fear is.
so confused.
See, this is the kind of thing where I was confused when it happened, and I was like, maybe it'll clear up. Instead, I just forgot about it.
Yep. There we go.
Here's another one. Rosa.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Man,
we see her at the beginning, and then we see her, like, Clara goes, oh my god, that looks like Rosa, in a diner. And then at the end, she's like, yeah, it didn't work out so well for Rosa, but we get no extra information beyond those pieces. And I'm like, for what? Why mention it if we get little? Like, maybe she's treated poorly. We see that their kids like trying to kick Clara across the room. Cool, love it.
we see Josie being like, "Fucking punt her, bro!" Like,
I mean, sure, why not?
I mean, I get why he chose Clara as the narrator for this, right? She has a perspective on the world, but she also doesn't understand the world because, like, no one explains it to her, and she doesn't ask any questions about it, which means that we, as the reader, know nothing.
I read something that was like, Clara might know more than she says, which is such a weird thing to do because like why would you write it like that? I just don't quite get it because the whole point is telling it from her perspective. So if we don't know that she does like it, yeah, I don't know. Which I was like, because we don't we so in the part where she's taking her little quizzes, she's figuring out that she's trying to take Josie's place, or that's what they're trying to have her do. She's like, I had guessed it a while ago. And we're like, well, why didn't you tell us that? We're supposed to be hearing it from your perspective. So, like, what other things could be happening behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At that point, like, I had also guessed it. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, obviously, it's been made so obvious. But, like, also,
Yeah.
she didn't say it outright. The other thing was, nope. The thought has escaped my brain. Just slid out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so no thoughts there.
I'm reading.
Used. Oh, my computer is dying. It is time to change.
Just switch spots.
Switch spots.
Okay. You know what that means? Fun fact time.
Oh my god.
Folks, we will, every time we meet, share a fun fact from either of us. And the fun fact, very loose. Mine is maybe fun for folks, some folks, and definitely not a fact because it's pure speculation. And Sven is apparently is not fun, just fact.
What is it?
So, this comes from a person that I should probably credit on TikTok this morning. Scrolling through TikTok, I think any person who would listen to our podcast would also be a person that's going to read Crescent City 3 when it comes out in Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And it was a theory about Fury and where Fury comes from. Yeah, Fury. So set yourself in, I think, a Court of Winds and Ruin. They're under the mountain. They hear the name Lord Thanatos. Lord Thanatos, you say, that is one of the princes of hell. And apparently, Miss Sarah Jen said, they have the same name, same person. I say, I want to see the receipts from when she said that. However, Thanatos being in two places, interesting. Prince of Hell in Prithian? Question mark. Anyway, Thanatos is someone in mythology whose children / daughters are who? The Furies.
Oh.
Who are goddesses of retribution. This will give us a fun segue into Percy Jackson. We see some Furies. And we see Furies, assassin in all black, hella merc. Fury's on that. We see Fury disappear for long periods of time, maybe going to I think the princes of the higher levels can go through the rifts, which princess of hell, could she do that? Danica smelled something on her. Bloodhound, Miss Mountain.
Excellent.
Interesting. I was like, I always was hoping that Bryce is carrying around a little picture of her and Juniper and Fury, Danica in her pocket. They all look at Fury, or they all look at the pictures and are like, what are you doing over there?
Sure.
Yeah, so.
That would be cool. It's very much giving Void little, like,
right.
Like causing
Easter egg, like
worlds, but like not really giving character anything. Like the only thing about her is that she's gay. Like that's it.
Yeah, and for some reason everybody respects her, and we have no information why.
She
like must have done something.
This is my like big gripe with Sarah J. Maas is like everyone in her world is like a lethal, unbelievable killer, and then when it comes to any action scenes where they have to like kill each other, they're just absolutely useless. They're like, and then they swung their sword, and I'm like, that's the legendary power.
The legendary power that I think of when I think of Fury is having a helicopter and having a wave runner. Girl can get out of a situation. Haven't seen a girl in a situation.
This situation, have not seen her. Oh my god.
So that is my fun fact of the day, which once again, pure speculation, but fun.
Yeah, fun for sure. Fact ? Yeah. Well, I had like a sad fact, and I don't want to share it anymore because it's like sad.
Oh, give it.
Well, so you know our like plastic water bottles, like the plastic single-use water bottles. We like developed a new kind of technology to like scan for like plastic in the actual water. And so like we all know about microplastics, but now we're able to like find nanoplastics, which are the smaller ones that can enter into your blood and into your cells. And no, it's not looking good. And in a bottle of like water, like just like a like like a Deer Springs water bottle, there are 200,000 nanoplastics. And like
That's not good.
it's not good. And like now they're thinking like things like reusable water bottles, like are these leaching nanoplastics that we didn't know about? Like, so I'm very concerned about it because it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, you're eating a credit card's worth of plastic in a week, but you're just like shitting it out afterwards. Like that's like tough, but like not like that's like not horrible. But plastic that can go
Inject
into your cells and never goes away. No thanks. No thanks. So that's my fact. That's not fun. That's not fun.
Well, you know what that means. I have the worst habit of bring my water bottle to work. Set my water bottle on the table.
Yes.
Don't fill my water bottle up. Every 10 minutes, try and drink from my water bottle. It's empty. Put it back on the table. Don't go fill it up. I'm like, maybe I should drink some water. We have plastic water bottles. We have every variety. Like, we have water. I'm like, okay, I'm going to drink liquid, so I do that. Now today is the day where I start filling my water bottle.
No. I influence you once again.
When you're an influencer, you can't turn it off. Also, the song of my washing machine. A moment. It's way too long.
Honestly, Samsung didn't have to go that hard, but I love that they did. It's all about the human touch with our machines.
Indeed. Indeed it is. Indeed it is.
Well, enough about let's hop skip and jump into Mr. Percy Jackson. Perseus Jackson. Now, the like running commentary that I had in my head when I was reading this was, oh my god, this is the same as Harry Potter. Which was very much the same, like on the same level as like the first Wheel of Time book is literally The Lord of the Rings. Where like the plot points are really similar and like there are certain things where I'm like, really? How bizarre. So a lot of my notes have to do with that. The first one is Harry Potter and the Great Museum opening scene.
Wow, yes. Yes, exactly. That's it.
That's it. Yes. Case closed. Copycat.
Yeah. They smack you in the face, left, right, sideways. That's the same thing. Up and down, probably too. You're a demigod, and you're the son of Poseidon.
Also,
every which way.
Just like the way that everyone's like, I wonder like who you belong to, and he's like, I just thought about the pipe exploding.
It just
water came out. I'm like, I don't know, guys.
I'm like, I just have no idea. And no one has any idea.
Had you read the Percy Jackson series before?
I would have told you with my whole pussy that I had. Reading this? No. No, I did not. I did not.
I believe that we both watched the film back in like 2012.
I ate that shit up. Lotus Casino?
Oh, well,
beautiful.
I don't know. I
was exactly
surprised because I remember in the film, the thing that keeps them there is the little lotus cakes. They're so yummy,
right?
Which
is what they said in the show. So I think maybe part of why we want to read this is we're both watching the show.
I have not started
as well. Oh my god, both extra question marks because that is incorrect. I am part of the way through the show.
I have heard scathing reviews of the show where people are like, "Yeah, it's
fine.
It's a great adaptation of the book in terms of some of the plot points that were missed in the book, but also a lot of shit has changed. The pacing is horrible. The writing style of this book is really unique in that you see it from Percy's point of view, and he is first and foremost a dumbass. And in order to get that same humor, they've added a whole bunch of expository dialogue to the show where they're just trying to talk about the revelations that Percy's having in his head, but it makes it really slow.
Oh yeah, they were like, oh my god, let's just add it so it's much closer to the book. We have the time and the space because it's a TV show. oh wait, I remember now. If you actually try and paste it like a book, it's terrible. That's not how that's how TV goes.
Like what?
Right.
There's just not that much content. Yeah, and it's a chapter book in the level of like the chapter titles are full sentences that fully spoil what happens in the chapter.
I'm like, guys,
the one where I get attacked on the bus by a fury. I wonder what's going on.
We have a table of contents? I think we do. Yeah. I become Supreme Lord of the Bathroom. 1. We visit the Garden Gnome Emporium. Wonder what that one's about. I plunge to my death. Spoiler alert. God buys us cheeseburgers. No idea who that's going to be. We take a zebra to Vegas. I wonder how you get to Vegas.
Oh, so you get to Vegas. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
We shop for waterbeds. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
It's giving a Friends title, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, the one where we shop for a waterbed. Yeah. I respect it. I respect it.
I know. Who came first? Obviously this.
Yeah. I mean, so, like, there are a couple of things in my notes that are just, like, ridiculous.
Give me your...
Oh, my star
the most
rating.
ridiculous.
Oh, the most
ridiculous. Yeah, that too.
All caps. Sorry, why is Hitler in the book? I don't recall.
He was just a demigod shooting his shot.
Oh, wait, Hitler was a demigod, right?
That's my only assumption for how he could have made it in. That's my only assumption.
Wait, I want to see.
Actually, wait, is that even right? Because they talk about how World War II was another little fight with the god between gods, right?
Between the gods, it was a fight between the gods, and everyone was just like their proxies. Wait, let me see. Do I have the?
That could have been right too. They might have.
No, I don't have the Percy Jackson ebook on my computer. Okay, my phone. But I do kind of want to Command F Hitler and find out why. But I think it had to do with like they're talking about how World War II was actually just a proxy for the gods, which like only an American would write that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, they're also like anything other than Western civilization that doesn't exist.
No, truly.
I was like,
the epicenter of Western civilization, America,
Los Angeles. I was like, okay, New York, maybe. LA?
I was like, guys,
why?
Medusa has taken up residence off of an interstate in New Jersey because that is the heart of Western civilization. No, I don't.
Okay, here's one of my other problems. Percy knows that his namesake is Perseus. Okay, we be knowing that first qualm, Perseus, not Poseidon's son. So what's that about? For what? That was a choice. And then they know the most about Greek history.
You're a mythology girly and I'm not. Who is Perseus?
Okay. Perseus is maybe known for many things, but he cuts off Medusa's head. His journey is with Medusa. They had it right how I guess it's Poseidon and Medusa. Well, he's raping Medusa in Athena's temple.
Oh yeah.
And then Athena's like, Crowley, why did you do that? And she's like, what the fuck? I did not attend on purpose. Then hair into snakes. And then Perseus is on some other island and is like, you know what? You need to earn honor for your family. This is what I'm saying. Go and get Medusa's head and then you'll give it as a gift to some guy. And then basically the whole thing is Medusa's asleep. Little pussy boy chops the head off, puts it in the bag. Whatever.
Wait, he cuts it off when she's asleep?
She's asleep. Asleep.
Lame. Okay.
So, right, exactly. So, but the point is, they know that he knows this. His inner dialogue talks about how Perseus cuts the head off when she's asleep. So they know about Greek mythology. He knows that's my namesake. They know that history of the past has repeated itself.
Mm-hmm.
No way they put together, maybe I'm going to run into Medusa on my quest because my name is Percy and I'm literally this person. I'm supposed to be based off this person. That can never happen to me, though. And I wouldn't know what to do if that happened to me.
Well, here's the thing, though, is he just goes on every single hero's adventure, right? Like, this is only...
Yeah, Jason in the next one.
He just does all of it, which, like, I mean, slay, but also, like...
What?
Also, it's clear that they're 12 years old. Right? Like,
okay, 6th graders. They're 6th graders. I didn't have braces yet, even, when I was a 6th grader. That's crazy.
I'm sorry. Those are children, like prepubescent, right? Like in Harry Potter, like they're running amok, like in a school, and like are endangered like a little bit of the time. But like in the first couple films, like most of the time they're sleeping in their beds and they're supervised. They are not hitchhiking through America. They're not sleeping on the floor.
They're not sleeping on the floor. They're not falling from the top of the St. Louis Arch.
With Rick Riordan.
They're not on trains.
The fact that have you seen the like controversy about the arch in St. Louis?
No, I don't think so.
It is a 6-lane highway away from the water. There is like a park and then a 6-lane highway and then the water. And everyone is like, how is Percy going to make that jump? And Mr. Rick is just like, I'm sorry, I thought it was
closer. In the show, basically the water comes out of nowhere and like carries him back to the water.
Oh?
So best case scenario. But I'm like, that if you're falling, you're just gonna fall straight down onto the ground. You're dead.
Yeah, no, because he says he like can see the water churning underneath him, and he's like, it's so gross. Oh, I did write how I love how he doesn't know where the arch is, but he knows in many, many details that the river is nasty. Like, he goes on for so long about how gross this water is. He's like, it is so murky. It is so brown. There's garbage. It is gross. The dirty, dirty water of the Mississippi that is so nasty. I'm like, so you know a lot about the river. Just, like, not where it is. But, like, you know a lot about it.
He's like, well, if I know one thing, a river, a water body.
Yuck.
That is stupid.
Silly, silly, silly. Why know about the bodies of water that you're writing about when you're writing a water demigod? That'd be so stupid.
Be so stupid.
Ridiculous.
Oh, I did not hear your rating.
I was about to say that as well. I gave it, I think I might have given it 4 stars.
Ooh. Not bad. Not bad. I gave it a 3 stars.
But, like, I think because 3 for me is, like, this is what I expected. 2 is, like, I disliked this, right? So that's why I gave Klara 2. No, I gave Klara a 3.
You gave Klara a 3, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is what I expected. Like, I didn't have a great time. 4 is, like, this was better than I expected. And 5 was, like, I liked this. This was good.
Okay, fair. My 3 is, it's a book.
Oh.
Fine. I read it, I finished it.
That's right.
4 is like, I liked that. Would read it again in theory.
Oh.
Maybe. Like, that's a good book. 5 is, love it. Amazing. No notes. Except for, if there are notes, I'm ignoring them.
Love. Okay.
On purpose.
Yeah. I think
2 is I disliked.
Yeah, I think the like phrase that I use in my mind is like, that was better than I thought it would be. And like, it was better than I thought it would be. But also, like, it's a middle grade book, so when I'm comparing it to like the adult fantasy that I read, like obviously it's in a different league. Like, if this were marketed to me as like an adult book, I would tear it to pieces. But because it's for children, I'm like,
yeah. So my book was like sitting on my nightstand like this.
Mm-hmm.
It literally says juvenile fiction. And I was like, I feel like I'm being targeted. Why am I being attacked by the library?
Juvenile.
Don't worry about it, library.
It's stocked in the children's section. And the reason I got the illustrated edition was because I could not muster up the courage to walk into the kids section of the library. Like, I couldn't take it. Like, the librarian looked at me and I was like, I can't. Like, I am simply not brave enough to walk into the children's section. So I put a hold on the illustrated edition because then at least I would have some dignity.
Honestly. And that checks out.
But I did read it
in like
12 hours. Like, it was fast.
Yeah. You told me that, and then I proceeded to read it over the course of a week.
Yeah.
So.
I also had the pretty pictures keeping me going.
I actually had a pretty picture, although you did say that it's spoiled maybe more than the titles of the chapters spoiled things.
Yes, the pictures were mega spoilers. For example, when you have the teacher in chapter 1 who like turns into a monster, literally like you have on like the top of the left page, Percy is like, I walked into the hall and was looking for the teacher. And the entire right page is just her as a fucking demon. And I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen now. Every piece of action. Where it's like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen. The picture's telling me.
Yeah. That being said, I still wish that I had it.
It was good. It was cute. It was fun.
Yes.
Here's
second most important question. First question. Which cabin are you in / who is your parent?
Excellent question. I think if you had asked me as a child, I would have said I was an Athena girl.
Yeah.
However, now I'm simply not interested in saving the world. I'm interested in leisuring. So I believe that I am either an Aphrodite or a Dionysus girly. Like, I am just here for a good time.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, and maybe not shocking at all, I've had very similar thoughts. I would have told you through and through, I'm an Athena girly, I'm a Hermione, I am smart girly.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking to myself, I have some really terrible ideas sometimes. I don't know what's going on sometimes. I don't know if that's me, actually. And so I thought, who am I? Crisis. So I did what only a reasonable person would do, and I took a BuzzFeed quiz. It told me that I was, it told me I was Athena, which I was like, okay, you don't know anything BuzzFeed. And I got a Hephaestus, which I was like, justice for Hephaestus.
I agree.
I'm like, it's a woman in STEM. But once again, I don't want to use my brain. So we try again. I think in reality, at this moment, I would be a Demeter girly. Or even, they don't exist, but an Artemis girly. I am not really saving the world, but I could hang out in the woods and shoot a bow and arrow. We all know that's what I was meant to do as a child. Anyway, my Katniss era never left, so.
Never ended. Never ended. There is blood.
Zip up black jacket. I could pull it off. Yeah.
You could. Your Halloween costume was immaculate. It was great.
Yeah,
I like the whole time, all of the kids were also always so mean to each other. And like also Percy was mean to other kids in his head, which I did not like. He meets a girl, and I don't remember where this was, but I just wrote down. He said it looked like she had spray painted her face with liquid Cheetos, talking about her ginger freckles. And I'm like, it's giving bullying. Like, what?
Oh my god. That's
with liquid Cheetos? Like,
man,
that's just me.
It's just mean. I was telling Jackson this also for our listeners. Jackson is my boyfriend. who recently was watching Percy Jackson with me, but also has been reading the Roman series. He started from the first one; it's now on the third one, where Percy apparently makes an appearance again.
Okay.
So interesting enough. But I was like, oh my god, what was I saying?
Wait, I have so many questions about the world with that respect.
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
they're like, okay, so it's like the Greek gods, but then like they became the Roman gods who are like the same. And then like all of the religions, like all of the forces of the world are all the same. It's like the same spirits, but we're still referring to them by their Greek names. Like, why? And like, does that mean that the gods and the Greek gods are different? Also, I'm sorry, am I stupid, or why were they studying the Greek gods in Percy's Latin class? Those are two different empires of different ages. What do you mean?
For the plot is, that's all I can say on that one.
But I'm like, but the whole point is it's supposed to be like, we're talking about the gods and we're being really serious about mythology, and then you do the most unserious thing ever and teach Percy about the Greek gods in Latin class.
Right. No, exactly. It makes no sense at all. My assumption for how the whole Roman gods on top of Greek gods world is happening is there's a separate camp for the Roman kids in.
Oh.
And they have.
But are their bodies not the same? Like, are bodies not the same?
No, they are. They are, but then it's like they're basically the same. So I can't remember the name of. It might be Jason actually, which really cracks me up. I think but they meet. He finds himself. The Roman kid finds himself in Camp Half Blood, and he's like, "What the fuck? What is this? What is this?" And then we find out there's like separate camps, but they're like they're talking about the same thing. So everyone's like, "No, but we're better though."
No,
and that's
but
that.
How do you know if Mars and Ares are the same dude? They're the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know which version of him gave his seed for you to know which camp to go to?
Interesting. Maybe little satyrs can sniff it out. They say, "You smell Greek."
You smell of the older era. Come with me.
I wonder, you know what? I'm going to ask Jackson this later. Because it's not like it's going to make sense.
It's absolutely not. The world building here, there's no sense. None.
But Rick Riordan's making his bank by making Roman. He's got Egyptian ones. He's got the Norse ones. It's crazy.
It's giving capitalism.
Absolutely. He said, "I can keep going." And I shall. Okay. One of the other things I wrote down was they are talking about Hades putting on his magic cap, and there's like darkness flowing from it. I said, I've read that before. I'm seeing something here, and all our ACOTAR girlies will know. All of our Fourth Wing girlies will know. I said, Shadow Daddy. Hello. I think you have arrived.
Perseus on something.
I was like, and let me tell you another interaction I had at this team dinner. Someone started talking about Percy Jackson. I work for a tech company, lots of geeks involved, everyone knows lots of stuff. And they were talking about how Hades sucks. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe not. And then they go, "Are you a Hades apologist?" And I said, "Well, so what if I am?" And they're like, didn't they kidnap her? And I'm like, like in a hot way. Like in a kind of a hot way. And everyone laughed at me.
Important context to give here is that you have read so many Hades Persephone romantic retellings where it like
absolutely
is in a hot way and then they bang.
Oh, well, yeah. And I was like, okay, but like picture an enemies to lovers. Picture a rich guy and some girl who just wants to have her shit paid for. That can be a Hades Persephone.
Yeah.
And we're gonna eat it up. There are many a retelling versions. However, I was laughed at. And they were like, "Oh my goodness." I was like, "I'm unfortunately being dead serious." So
sorry. Were there any women laughing at this?
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. Well, they were. I'm going to choose to believe that they're like, and I know what you're talking about, and I agree.
They were
like,
say it in public.
They were. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Typically the right take.
So, I saw that there was maybe one line in the whole thing. I was like, and that's that. That's so. And we shall continue.
I want to go through my list of all of the Harry Potter.
Yes, I would love to hear that.
Yes. It's only three. It's only three things, turns out. But it felt egregious to me. But I'll read through the rest of my notes after. So first, we have Harry Potter and the Great Museum opener. Obviously. Kid goes to museum, runs amok, kind of realizes that he's not like other girls, but nothing is explained, but everything has changed. Then you have the invisibility cloak becomes an invisibility cap. I'm sorry.
Dude.
I'm sorry.
I have qualms with this because
why does she have an invisibility cap? It's just like a gift. Right? Like, why invisibility? Like, also, how does it work? Like, whose magic is it drawing from?
Exactly. I have thoughts about this because we know, because it's talking about Hades' helm or whatever. He's got an invisibility cap. And I was like, oh my god, Annabeth, how'd you get Hades' hat? Different hat, though. And they explicitly say they're different. What, gift from mother?
I'm like, did she bone Hades and then get like a little bit of his magic to make a cap? Like, that would be cool.
And that is the new retelling that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Somebody write that. Somebody write that, or I'm going to have to write it, and I'm not going to do it justice. So, please, a mythology girly needs to get on that. And then the last one is there's the evil lord who doesn't have a body, but wants to come back, who is hunting for the main character.
I wonder who that could be.
So that's a little interesting.
I feel like I've heard that one before.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't so explicit. Like, in the Wheel of Time, like, every single plot point is like, oh, this is Lord of the Rings. Whereas here, like, it's not as explicit, but it still felt very much like you copied off of J.K. Rowling's paper. Like, you were peeking.
Yeah.
And
it felt like reading. Yeah, I kind of love it. When you can get away with it, I'm like, you killed that, actually. You can get away with it, and not everybody's saying it.
Fiction.
Yeah. Like,
love.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like when we were reading Fourth Wing, and I'm like, this is Divergent.
Because it is. Because it is.
Because it is. So, you can get away with it. More power to you.
More power to you.
All right, let's hear the rest of your list.
I have, the cover kind of gives away the water thing, but I'm so sorry. Percy pouring ice water on himself is so slutty. And then I remembered he's 12 and we're not talking about Logan Lerman, and then I felt bad.
About Logan Lerman. So
I'm talking
back to being okay.
Oh, who's also underage, to be fair. Like, in that film, he's not.
Really?
I think he's 16.
Oh, that feels. Oh.
Yeah, so, like, we're criminals.
Now he's an adult.
Don't worry.
No,
now he's an adult.
We're thinking of Logan Lerman now. We're guys.
We're good. Delicious.
Yeah, we're back in.
So I'm thinking about him pouring ice water over himself and just being a whore. Love that. Then I think, I can't remember who does it, but someone corrects who to whom once, and I was giggling, kicking my feet. It was like reading a romance book. I was like, oh my gosh, I love it here. This is so great.
Yes. Yes.
Not the entrance to the underworld being LA. It could have been Death Valley. Like, it could have been anywhere in the US.
Oh my god, it could have been Death Valley. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it's LA, and the entrance is a record studio.
Like, I liked I liked it's in the Hollywood sign in the movie. Or at least that's what it is in Wizards of Waverly Place, which also is just literature, I guess.
That's crazy. Then I have just his, in quotation marks, daddy goat. I don't know where that's from, but I know that I didn't like it.
Yep.
Then I said, I get why they explained the lore, but the villains introducing themselves will never not give Scooby-Doo. Like,
oh
all
my god.
that they fight, they're like, I am Medusa. Or like, I am
Echidna.
Yeah, no, exactly. And
The
I'm like,
mother of demons. I was like, mother of dragons? Mother of who?
mother of who? Oh, it's like, what? Like, I get it. Because, like, it's also, like, I bet, like, supposed to give, like, an educational skew so that parents feel better about their kids reading this. Because then they're, like, they're learning about gods. Like, they're learning mythology. So you have to have this kind of, like, spoon-feedy exposition. But also, like, it just felt so ridiculous. Like, I am. Then we have no one's mentioned eating a vegetable once, either at Camp Half-Blood or out in the world. This is why America is obese. I'm like, these, like, the Half-Bloods need to be eating some dietary fiber. They need to be carbo loading. How can you swing a sword with no energy?
Funny. I assumed that they were having like frat bro chicken broccoli rice for dinner.
Oh no, they talk about, bro, Rick Riordan is obsessed with barbecue.
Yeah,
He talks about barbecue so often. And here's like the fucked up thought that I had. So like they eat barbecue a lot at Camp Half-Blood. It's very much giving like slabs of meat.
Yeah, it's giving meat chunks that they're slicing off and throwing into the fire.
Hunk of meat. It's giving very medieval in that way, like a medieval hall with the king.
They could have their goblets next to it filled with their Diet Coke.
Exactly. They're fucking Diet Coke. But what absolutely sent me is that like Percy gets a flash of heaven and it smells of barbecue. And I'm like,
brainwash.
Why does heaven smell like barbecue? And secondly, this is like really fucked up, but the scent of burning human flesh smells like barbecue because the scent of cooked flesh smells like cooked pork. So, like, hell literally probably smells like barbecue because you have burning people.
Yes, indeed.
And he's like, oh, but heaven smells like barbecue. And I'm like, that's not heaven. But also, like, I love
heaven smells like barbecue. Hell smells like barbecue.
Earth smells
in a barbecue world.
I think Rick Riordan was hungry when he wrote this.
There's a lot of talk about cheeseburgers. We could really use a cheeseburger.
How many cheeseburgers?
Yeah.
Which, like, I love it because it's giving America. It's giving.
It's giving America.
It's giving what
whole book is giving.
Yeah. But like my thing about moving all of the gods to America is like, weren't the gods like attached to all of their like temples? Like, isn't that like a whole like big tenet of religion is that you have to like go and like practice the religion in the temple to like serve the gods? Like,
definitely.
So
I think my assumption is that there's many temples all over the place.
Oh. But
so,
it's not.
So like
I temple to Athena. The temple to Athena is still in Athens. So like,
well, that I think that like the temple to Athena.
But there's another.
I think that there's many temples to Athena, or many Because, like, I'm imagining there's lots of places in Greece where they were like, I am an Athena girly. I'm going to worship her at my little town countryside Athena thing.
Or they're like, oh.
But I still agree.
Athena is the goddess of like wisdom. And so you go to worship the goddess of wisdom at a library or like at a university. And so like you keep her spirit alive in the Western world at like fucking Harvard, I guess. Or Stanford. Don't worry about it.
Or Stanford.
Don't worry about it. Stanford first. Don't worry about it. Don't worry
No
about
one will ever guess where we went to school.
No one would ever have a single clue. The last thing that I wrote down is like, I know I'm a Percy hater because he's like, oh, I'm so good in battle, but his only move is a sidestep. He sidesteps every single time. And he's like, I caught him off guard and now I won. Which like, I love. Like he's 12, but also like, you have conquered like level 100 mythical beasts by like sidestepping
by swerving them. Yeah.
God.
No, I too have that one down. I was like, okay, sure. Percy's a demigod. Sure. He's better in the water. Sure. He's trained for, let's give him, they say 2 weeks. And then he's going on his quest. He has no business fighting any of these demons.
None.
And definitely no business even going close to combat with Ares.
Yeah, that
not
was
even near.
Unhinged. And like I guess water power saved him, but also like
it makes more sense that the water power saved him, but they were sword fighting, which I think it's so funny that looked like a little gunfight. Yeah. To the rest of the world.
In the ocean, so the water was helping him.
Right. But still.
He
is better off like using waves to crush him. That makes more sense logically than the water is helping him be even close to defeating this guy.
Which like ridiculous. Also, I didn't really understand how a sword fight could look like a gunfight. Because does that just mean that they're like parrying
the mist? Right, no, exactly. I was like, okay, mist.
Like, are they shooting at each other?
But also what? No, exactly. I was like, okay, guns. What about we could go on sticks? We could have gone
baseball bats.
Baseball bats. How silly would that look? We could have gone fencing in the water. It's not like a gunfight in the water makes any more sense.
Like,
you know?
Because, like, what do you think a gunfight is? Right? Like, I'm thinking, like fucking two cowboys in the Wild West, like, shooting at each other. Like,
right.
That's very different from, like, a melee brawl with swords.
So. Also, 12-year-old with gunfight. Weird. Interesting. The world was like, yes, right. That's it. That makes sense.
Also, the entire subplot of the gross, smelly stepdad just trashing Percy on national TV.
I was like, get your bag, sir. Get your bag. That's crazy. Also, menaced behavior to go call this real number. Ask for a free appliance.
I love
menaced behavior. It's giving sign your ex up for Scientology.
Truly. No, but truly, I was going to say, if Scientology costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars, which I've heard it does.
It could. That seems logical to me.
If you were gullible enough.
Yes. Exactly. Okay, I'll read you my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Can't believe they're sunglass. 6th grade. At the end, I was jarred by the fact they were going to go back to 7th grade. Yeah,
I'm like,
makes sense.
That's crazy.
Right? I was thinking, Annabeth, I can see why they casted Witch Eyes, because they're like, you know what? Annabeth's blonde, but you know what's more important? Enormous gray eyes. You know who has that? Alexander Daddario. Witch Eyes.
Witch Eyes.
Once again, was so confident that I read this book, and I actually am so confident that I read the second book, and there's no way that if I didn't read the first book that I read the second book. It doesn't make any sense. But I was so confident. I would have told you everything that happened in the movie, and none of it would have been right. So, truly, I'm reading the first part of this book, and I'm like, boarding school. They just showed up at a museum.
Museum.
That's this boarding school situation. I was jarred by the fact they were like, have you ever thought you were a demigod? Well, Percy too. And he will be. And you know what it will be? Water. But no one knows who it is. So stay tuned to find out. What?
This time on Percy Jackson.
Yeah. Let's see. There was a lot of little interactions that were much shorter than I thought they were. And I guess the book's not that long, but like Lotus Casino lives in my head rent free from the movie. That's like less than 5. It's like 10 pages or something. It's like so short. Like, damn. My favorite character is probably Grover, because I would have been one girly through and through. And I hate to say it, but I'm no longer like being a girl. So
Yeah,
that leaves Grover.
And Percy is annoying.
I couldn't relate to Percy less. Truly. I don't really like the water. He's an idiot. He's blonde, I think. I don't know. No, he's not. He has black hair. He does not.
But he gives.
And that doesn't make sense to me.
He gives blonde. So the TV show casting makes sense for him. Because what I have
completely
about is the TV show actor's ability to just look incredibly confused.
Yes.
Which is Percy to a T. Unbelievably confused and out of his depth.
You know the vibes that I got from Grover? Winston.
Yes.
And I said, that is for me.
Yes.
That is where I'm at. And also Pan, I think bread. And I said, I could search for bread.
I could search for bread. Fun fact.
I could search for bread.
Favorite food in the entire world.
Bread. I could eat. Tangent on that one. On Wednesdays, there's a farmer's market by the Foggy Bottom station. And if I leave work early enough, I'll catch it. I'll get a loaf of sourdough bread and eat that shit with my hands on the metro back. And I get home and I say, where did this chunk of a loaf of bread go? Wouldn't know anything about that. That was not my business. The wind blew really hard and now it's gone. So
that's
that.
An ethereal Wednesday.
I know. I believe that. So I highlighted and wrote down some of my favorite quotes. I believe said Luke. They're going on their quest, and Luke goes, "Killed some monsters for me," which gave me Radio Rebel, Pick Me Girl, kill some monsters for me energy. And I'm like, that was the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. So there's that. We also have Cream the Punk. Okay. What?
It's so hard to process. Cream the Punk.
Which I believe is said while they're playing Capture the Flag. And it's like, get him! Cream the Punk. That is an insult, and what a statement.
What a statement.
My personal favorite, I think, is ink soup coming to a boil. That is the way that they describe the sky during a storm. Ink soup coming to a boil. I said, yes, sir. That is literature.
Maybe this is this book.
Right? And the last one, I guess I was reading this at like the evening time, and they were talking about Ares and Aphrodite hooking up, but Hephaestus exists, and they're like, Hephaestus is good with his hands, but like not so blank, blank, blank. And I was like, good with his hands, you say? And what? And that's it. That's all. It was like, they said it, not I. They could have chosen any other phrasing.
Having the same thought.
Yeah. So. Oh, the other one was, I don't have the exact quote, but Annabeth was like, "Man, you almost died. That would have been terrible." But the way that she says it is, "You almost died. That would have been so bad. You would have been dead, first of all, and that sucks. But also, more importantly, I wouldn't have had a quest to go on anymore." And I was like,
that
"Wow, that is a sexist statement." No, none of the other guys picked up on. They were like, "Yeah, I would have been dead. That sucks."
It's giving until you guys come up with a better plan to get us all killed or worse, expelled.
Truly,
1000%.
yes.
The other thing that I was absolutely loving was when they were going to get the shield. And Percy is like, Annabeth, come with me. And they're like getting it from the like love roller coaster. And Annabeth is
Oh
like,
yeah, tunnel of love.
no, I don't want to go with you. It'd be so embarrassing.
I know, it's like, you're right, it would be embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Also,
Yeah, you had to do it, so you were
like soulmates, and they like fall deeply in love later. Like, okay, but also like giving peak middle school.
It's giving such middle school in a way that I'm like, I wonder that like when they start actually liking each other, would that be like the like angsty romance that I would enjoy? Maybe.
Maybe. But like,
But
I'm also
not
confused
enough.
how quickly he ages up, right? Because like if each book is a year, then like it takes a while for him to get to real romance age, you know? Like we're waiting
So true.
really like 16 for like the real stuff to kick in. Right? That's why The Half-Blood Prince
Yeah.
is first and foremost a romantic comedy film.
Yes. And I was gonna say, every book is 1 year. Never heard of that before. That's crazy.
Never heard of that before. Never heard of it before. It's giving same book, different font. And
Yeah.
I respect it. And like I'm dunking on Percy Jackson, but if we took the same level of like analysis to Harry Potter, Mama, that world makes no sense. Oh, here's a fun fact for you. J.K. Rowling was once asked, so what did wizards do about bodily fluids before the Muggles invented indoor plumbing?
Yep.
And Miss J.K. Rowling went, easy. They just pissed and shitted themselves and then magicked it away.
Yeah, I heard about this. I heard that the shit that J.K. Rowling is tweeting is no good. No good. Way too detailed.
I mean, but also, like, think about the kids who are, like, too young to use magic. They're pissing and shitting themselves and just waiting for an adult to magic their stuff away. Do they have diapers?
One can only hope. Diapers wouldn't have existed either.
18-year-olds who aren't allowed to use magic when they're at home? Do they have diapers?
Oh man.
Their booty? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Miss J.K. Rowling?
I also heard that she tweeted something like pretty explicit about Grindelwald and someone else. I want to say it's Tom Riddle, but that's not right. But it might be Dumbledore.
Oh,
like, for sure that. But like something explicit. Like girl, there was no need. And
came out of nowhere and she was like, yeah, you guys are being really mean to me, but like I'm super inclusive. Dumbledore's obviously gay.
Yeah. Woman's gotta keep her mouth shut.
I wouldn't know anything.
I have a question for you. So we were watching The Chamber of Secrets, and I was like, McGonagall's obviously the head of Gryffindor, but McGonagall gives me Ravenclaw. So I was like, I mean, that must mean that she was Gryffindor. I looked it up, and it was like, fun fact, McGonagall was the longest hat stall, which I'm like, what a word. You made that up, and it makes perfect sense. Between Gryffindor and Ravenclaw, but then ultimately went Gryffindor. And I was like, where did that come from? What lore did that book? Where did
a Gryffindor? Dumbledore, Gryffindor. McGonagall, Gryffindor. Hagrid, Gryffindor. The Golden Trio, Gryffindor. And then she's like, but Luna Lovegood was a Ravenclaw. And that's about it.
That's that. But like, where did that information live? There were no citations.
So much lore on them, or it's like McGonagall was married really young, but then she got like a divorce and like all of this stuff. And like, I don't remember exactly
like
where.
Real lore?
I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's canon or not, but like,
because I would eat it up if it was not canon. But like, where does one even go? It goes really hard.
It's called Archive of Our Own.
Yes, yes, it is. That is the source.
All right, important question. Fuck, marry, kill. Klara, Ricky, Percy.
Oh, this is terrible. Most of them are children, and one is a robot. Ooh, it feels so bad.
Well, you get to kill one of them. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, I really want to kill Klara. So it's gotta be kill Klara, fuck Ricky, marry Percy. But I hate that. But I'm switching.
We just said that Ricky was our favorite character, and we hated Percy. But you still want to put Percy above Ricky. It's really not
100%
good for Klara.
Percy's gonna be hot when he gets older. Oh. And he's a hero, whatever.
The actor who played Percy Jackson in the show.
I mean, it's Logan Lerman.
Well, it's Logan Lerman. In the show, that guy played young Deadpool. So he played young Ryan Reynolds.
See, that's good luck. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm standing by that. That one was the only one I knew. But am I fucking a robot? Am I fucking...
Here's the thing, but Klara is so perceptive that she would like know exactly what you want.
I know. I think the obvious choice there would be kill Ricky.
Wow, poor Ricky.
Because robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's your turn.
Well, you have to give me a different matchup.
Well, fair enough, I guess. We're going Dionysus with the tiger striped shirt on, not the good one, the weird one. Grover. Ricky's mom. No, actually, I switched it. The guy that they had lunch with from the school.
Bro, I was gonna fuck Ricky's mom so hard. He gives
I know you were
good in bed. Like, what a life that woman lived. Okay, well, she's out of the question.
Honestly, wait, that's okay. You can choose either of them, but that's an interesting point because she must have been good for something, or else that man wouldn't have stayed.
Well, also apparently she was real pretty.
Okay.
She was getting sugar baby, which like I love.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd fuck her. And then there's Dionysus and Grover. Oh, okay, I'm gonna kill Dionysus and I'm gonna marry Grover.
Yeah, that seems right.
That's a fun, good life. Dionysus hates everything. Also,
indeed, they describe him as super ugly,
super ugly, and like hairy and just like sweaty. And also, I would have to live in children's summer camp, which is simply not for me.
Ooh.
That's not for me.
No, I don't love that.
Oh, the last thing that I said that I didn't read off earlier, there's two things. One, the fact that in my head, I will never not see the driver of the boat who goes across the River Styx in my head, pronounced Karen.
And I agree.
Pronounced Karen, and the fact that he's such a sassy motherfucker, it's giving Karen. I say Karen and his boat go so hard. I'm obsessed.
Oh my god,
yeah. Dynamic duo. Then the other thing that I wrote is Why is Aries going on dates at a water park? That's such scummy white trash behavior.
What business did they have hooking up in the love tunnel at a water park in Denver? Like, why? For
It's
what?
so gross. Also, all of the gods depicted like in the illustrated edition were like kind of fat, medium, ugly, like horribly aged white men that looked suburban and were all in like cargo shorts. And I was like,
Oh,
this
that's
is
disgusting.
even gods.
I have something for you. I don't. How much have you seen about the show?
I've seen a good amount of TikToks.
Yeah, cool. So Hermes supposed to be fucking around.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, right?
Lin-Manuel Miranda. What business does the supposedly fuckboy of the gods be Alexander Hamilton?
Alexander Hamilton. I keep getting TikToks where it's like, my father is the worst person alive, and I'm his favorite son.
Well, that's the sound. That is the sound that I get. Seven. That is the I've got it with Jude and her dad. It's like, and I'm his favorite daughter, and it's the seven. It's seven, but I've also got it.
That is insane. Yeah, I
You know
think
what that means?
that I haven't gotten more TikTok. The reason that I haven't gotten more TikToks from the new Percy Jackson show is that they're not making thirst edits, which like I totally understand because they're children. But like that's how pop culture makes it on my page.
That also they're listening, so they know that you're not watching it, or you're not actively watching it.
Look, I was thinking about it.
So,
And then I heard bad reviews, and I said, you know who doesn't like being
well,
bored?
oh, separately, you know what I have been watching?
What have you been watching?
Traders, which is set in a Scottish Highlands castle.
I'm obsessed.
The US version is Gay Man in Kilts, Sassy Gay Man in Kilts, is the host. Premise, a bunch of Survivor, Big Brother, celebrity housewives get together in this castle. It's mafia, so there's 3 traders and or 3 to 4. The rest of them are faithfuls. They kill, murder one person a night. The faithfuls have to try and figure out who's the traitor. They got a round table. They vote someone off. Great. They're it's reality TV show stars, so drama mama.
Incredible. What platform can I watch it on?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know the answer. I know. And Jackson just puts it on. It might be Peacock.
Okay.
Maybe Peacock.
Okay.
But there's also a UK version. But it's not the same guy. And they do the same challenges where I'm like, okay, reuse the same props. That's fine. That makes sense, I guess.
Look, they're just being economical.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right. I think we lost the plot.
We lost the plot a while ago.
I think we lost the plot a while ago, and frankly, I could keep losing the plot forever. The plot.
Yeah, exactly. It's gone. I don't remember where the plot went.
I barely remember when
traveled
she was
down
here.
a different road. Was she even? Once upon a time.
I was alive during that time. But the plot is gone, and so will we. We will also be gone.
Next month, I will be choosing the fun book. Sanya will be choosing the serious book. We will be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back.
Sometime.
More books that we will attempt to read.
Attempt to read and succeed.
Succeed. In the nick of time. Finished 30 minutes before we started recording, but I finished.
And that's on. Yeah.
And that's on preparedness.
Exactly. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.